Hi, it's Patrick Cranston of Cranston IT with your Bionic Business Vlog. It's my passion to help you use technology to make your business faster, stronger, better. When working with clients and helping them manage their Apple IDs, we always get this question: how do we manage our Apple IDs? In fact, I was just talking with a potential new client today that was having this exact problem where they were using Apple IDs, but multiple users were getting information on other users' information, or they were having problems with devices getting locked when an employee left, and it all circulates around the concept of an Apple ID. So to understand how to manage Apple IDs, let's take a look at first what is an Apple ID. So an Apple ID is a person's account with Apple, and this account allows Apple to identify who the person is and link them to all their content and devices that are being used with Apple. And this includes things like iCloud, iTunes, and the app stores. And Apple's philosophy is that all Apple IDs are personal. In other words, an Apple ID is owned by the person, and a company cannot own an Apple ID. In fact, if you read all the fine print in the user agreement for when you sign up for an Apple ID, it very clearly states that an Apple ID is owned by an individual. It's not owned by a person. And this is very important to understanding, as it affects all aspects of how Apple manages or allows management of their Apple IDs. So, when a person sets up their Apple ID, Apple assumes that this ID is being used by one person only, and they go to great lengths to protect that person's privacy and data. And this is a good thing. And so, for example, if you use an Apple ID to sign into iCloud on an iPhone, that phone is now linked to that Apple ID or linked to that particular person. If that phone becomes lost or stolen, no one else can take that phone and erase it and then use it as their own iPhone. So this really helps cut down on the potential threat of someone stealing your iPhone or stealing your data off of your phone, because once your iPhone's lost or stolen, if someone tries to erase it, tries to do something with it, it's going to lock them out completely, and that basically makes the iPhone bricked and unusable unless you know the Apple ID to unlock the device. Also, Apple IDs are used to share data between devices. So if you sign into an iPhone and an iPad using the same Apple ID, you can have your text messages, your iMessages, your photos, your phone calls. All that data can be synced across multiple devices, which makes using Apple products so great. You have an iPhone that works pretty much just like your iPad. If you get a text message on your iPad, it shows up as being read on your iPhone. If you take a photo on one device, it automatically shows up on your other devices. So there's a lot of benefits for the way Apple handles Apple IDs. But for businesses, this creates a problem. When attempting to use Apple IDs on a business device, you end up with a locked device that can't be unlocked because an employee is no longer with that company. Or multiple users end up getting some other user's text messages and photos across their devices because you have 5 different users all using devices that have the same Apple ID. And this creates, a lot of frustration and potentially compromising situations. For example, we had a customer a few years ago that ended up with private emails about HR data or HR situations being shared with multiple users who should not have had that information because they were using devices that were sharing the same Apple ID. So the good news is that Apple has created a way to help businesses manage their Apple IDs in business. And this process is called the Apple Business Manager service. And so with Apple Business Manager, it allows you to verify ownership of devices with Apple. So a business can use Apple Business Manager to verify that they're owners of the devices. And once a business has verified that they're an owner of a device, you can bypass having to use an Apple ID on that device at all, or you can override a person's personal Apple ID on the device. So with devices that are set up to use Apple Business Manager, if a user leaves the company and you take their company iPad back, you can wipe that iPad, even if they have their own Apple ID on it. You can't get into the device and see their personal data, but you can wipe the device and reconfigure that very easily to work with someone else. Or you can share devices among users and skip having to use an Apple ID altogether. And if you need to push out an app or some other content to the device, you can do that through Apple Business Manager without actually having to use an Apple ID. So there are ways to work around Apple IDs in business, but if you're starting to manage your Apple or you're managing Apple devices or thinking about rolling out Apple devices to your business, or you're already been rolling out Apple devices and just sharing Apple IDs and kind of just managing that ad hoc as you go, you really want to go learn about the Apple Business Manager service. You can Google Apple Business Manager online, and that'll take you to their website, to Apple's website, where you can learn more about it. Or if you don't have the time or resources to manage this yourself, I highly recommend reaching out to a local member of the Apple Consultants Network. These are local IT professionals in your area that have been certified by Apple and understand all about Apple Business Manager, Apple IDs, and they'd be more than willing to come in and either help you on a project basis or provide ongoing support for your Apple IT needs. If you like this video, please, and found this information helpful, please like and share this on your social media channels. If you have a question that you would like answered that's business IT related, please post a comment or send an email to ask@cranstonit.com, and I'll try to answer it in a future video.